Now let's start with the economy portion of the test. Okay, there are quite a few questions from economy, as is the trend with UPSC also. Of course, in 2021, number of questions from economy were a bit on the lower side, but in earlier versions, number of questions from economy were usually 20 plus. Okay, so now let's see this question. Question number 19. Which of the following factors influence the saving rate in an economy? Okay, so here the keyword is influence. It is not asking you to decide whether it will increase or decrease. So your life have been made easy. Okay, now of course, influence the saving rate in an economy. Interest rate. You know that if interest rate will increase, then people will deposit money in the bank to get more interest. So of course, one will increase saving rate. So interest rate will determine. Now let's consider inflation. Okay, so if there is high inflation, then people's saving will increase or decrease. If there is high inflation, then people will have to spend more to buy same amount of goods and services, right? So if they will have to spend more, then saving will decrease. Okay, so both interest rate and inflation will certainly influence. So 1 and 3, you can come back here. This means this is not the right answer. This is not the right answer. You have C and D. So you have to decide 4 whether demographic distribution will have influence on saving rate or not. Okay. So research have said that, and the common sense also says that if money will come to relatively young population, then they will spend it more because they have so many responsibilities to fulfill. They have their own education, then they will marry, they will spend on buying home, children's education and all kind of things. So, but on the other hand, if elder people will get some more money, then their saving will increase because they do not have much responsibility to fulfill. So 4 is also correct. 1, 2, 3, 4 is a correct answer. Okay. So you can see the economics is not only just money. Okay, you have to see about these sides also. Demographic side, it's a human thing. Economy is just not number. Okay, now let's see another question. What is unemployment trap? Okay, now unemployment and trap. Okay, there are 2 terms. Let's assume that you do not know this term. Okay, if you know this term, you know that option A is the correct answer. But if you don't know the term, there are 2 things: unemployment and trap. Okay, let's see option number B. A situation where people work informally without proper job contract. Okay, so this is not the case of unemployment. At least people are working, maybe informally, but it's not a case of unemployment. So B gone. C. It refers to the time lag between job when individual is searching for a new job or is switching between the jobs. Okay, now this is case of unemployment. C indeed is a case of unemployment. It's a case of frictional unemployment, but there is no trap here. Okay, person is not forced to be here. It's voluntary. So C again gone. D. It is a scenario when large section of population is trapped. Here the word trap have been deliberately introduced to trap you. It is a scenario where large section of population is trapped in low-paying jobs. Okay, again in low-paying jobs. It is not a case of unemployment. It is a case of underemployment. So this is also incorrect. A is correct answer. Okay. So unemployment trap means if people are given unemployment allowances, then there is a chance that they will have lesser incentive to search for employment because anyway they are getting certain sum of money. Okay, and they are used to it. Okay, this is one of the moral dilemmas of giving unemployment benefits. Let's say question number 21. Okay, in the context of Indian economy, which of the following is correct regarding K-shaped recovery? Again, this was one of the easy questions. K-shaped recovery have been in use consistently in 2021 mains. UPSC have asked question on V-shaped recovery, so this becomes important. Now you see K-shaped recovery, the 2 arms are diverging in different direction. Okay, so this gives you the clue to the answer, that it means that K-shaped recovery is a scenario where different sectors of economy are recovering at widely different pace. Okay, so it happens when different sectors of economy recovers at a starkly different rate. That is that. as there was this fear that India will have K-shaped recovery because the bigger companies, technology giants, capital intensive companies would recover at faster pace, while the MSMEs will recover at slower pace, leading to increase in widening of inequality, these things. So A is correct answer. Let's go to question number 22. Which of the following statement best describes objective guidelines related to positive pay by RBI? Now, positive pay by RBI, now unless you know this already, it is difficult to get to answer using logic. Okay, this was more of a factual question. So, positive pay guideline is related to RBI's guideline to stop check related frauds. Okay, so it says that if you are issuing a check to someone above check with value above certain price, then you are expected to send these details to drawing bank, like check number, the amount of money which you are paying by a check, these things, so that before paying to that person, bank will verify the details. Okay, that will stop check related frauds. So this one was very factual question. Unless you know it, it's difficult. So these type of questions means that you should be in touch with current affairs. But at the same time, the good thing about these questions is these type of questions do not require your detailed understanding. As long as you have read somewhere that positive pay is related to check related frauds, you can get it right. Okay, question number 23 is about central bank digital currency, CBDC. Now, okay, if you have followed budget of this year, then let's come to statement number 3 first. Okay, see, in all these statements, you should try first to pick those statements in which you are most certain that that statement is correct or incorrect. Okay? That is easy way to solve question by elimination. Let's see statement number 3. RBI has launched CBDC of India on a pilot basis. You know that this year's budget have mandated RBI. Okay, it has said that RBI will launch in next financial year. Okay, so the next financial year is yet to start. Okay, that means RBI has not yet launched CBDC. Statement number 3 must be incorrect. If statement number 3 is incorrect, that means you have only 2 options, 1 and 2 only, and 1 only. So we won't bother about 1. We'll talk about 2. It is exchangeable 1-to-1 with the fiat currency, CBDC. You know that for all practical purpose, CBDC is same as your currency notes. So CBDC is same as notes inside my wallet. It's same, except that it is digitally available. So just like my currency note, it is also a fiat currency. It is exchangeable 1-to-1. Okay. So answer is 1 and 2 only. Okay. Now let's see question number 24. All I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find ways to solve question with minimum amount of information which you have, because in exam hall it may so happen that you will be knowing only 1 or 2 statements out of all the statements. So you will have to proceed on the basis of those statements only. Which among the following factors is taken into account in determining fair and remunerative price of sugarcane? Now, fair and FRP of sugarcane is a similar concept to MSP. Okay, it is the minimum price which sugar mill owners have to give to farmers. Okay, now which of the following factors are taken into account? How FRP is determined? Which factors influence FRP? Now, first, cost of production. Of course, this is basic common sense that if cost of production will be high, then FRP will have to be fixed high so that farmers will have some remunerative price. So 1 is correct. Okay, if 1 is correct, then we can eliminate C. Okay, C cannot be answered. Now come to statement number 3. Likely impact of FRP on the general price level. Okay, now of course this will be taken into account because if this will not be taken into account, suppose government will fix a very high price for sugarcane. Okay, but if government will fix very high price for sugarcane to benefit farmers, that means sugar mill owners will have to pass that price to consumers. Okay, and now in the election season, suppose a party will win election, then its supporters will have to buy sweets, and if FRP will be high, then sweets cost will be high. So you know that the influence of FRP will also be on other goods in the market. So of course, likely impact of FRP on general price level will also be taken into consideration. So 1 and 3 of course is correct. This means you will remove this one. Now come to 2, intercrop price parity. Now of course interprice crop parity affects FRP, because suppose if price of sugarcane, that is FRP, suppose FRP will be very high, then what will happen? All the producers, all the farmers will tend to shift towards sugarcane cultivation, because it will be more remunerative. Okay, as it happening now in case of MSP for rice and wheat. Then everybody will be start cultivating sugarcane, and again there will be another threat to sustainable agriculture. So 2 is also correct, and finally this is correct answer. 4, domestic and international prices. Yes, if domestic price, again this is related to 3 and 4 are very related. International price also, because if international price is very low, then there will be the import into India will increase unless there will be a parity in price of domestic market. So this also determines it. 1, 2, 3, 4 will be the correct answer. Okay. And this is general type of question. Following factors, almost unless there is some obvious mistake, mostly all the factors will determine. Okay. Question number 25. Consider following a statement in context of GST. Okay, statement number 5. First, let's see. GST is essentially a tax on value addition at each state. Now it is right. Okay, you know that GST is tax on tax. Okay, GST is not a tax on tax. Okay, in fact, this was one of the reasons to bring GST, that GST will stop cascading effect. It will be a tax only on value addition. Okay, so 1 is correct. It is a destination-based tax. Okay, yes, GST is indeed a destination-based tax. So if a firm is producing something in Tamil Nadu and selling it in Bihar, then the GST will be applicable only in Bihar, that is consumption state. Okay, that was the reason that states, producer states like Tamil Nadu, they were saying that they since they will be losing tax because of GST, they need some compensation. That's what this concept of compensation says. Okay, so if you have been following current affairs, you know that GST is a destination-based tax. So this is 1 and 2 is correct. What about 3? Okay, tax rates are decided by Parliament. You know that GST tax rates are decided by GST Council. Okay, so of course tax rates are not decided by Parliament. This is one of the unique features, because for other taxes, tax rates are approved by the Parliament only, but for GST it is GST Council. Okay, so you know the answer. Okay. Again, the idea is that you have to look at one statement at a time and try to eliminate options. Okay, because at times you may not be required to know all the statements to get your answer right. Okay, so this is economy. Now next economy question will be 27. Okay. Now question number 27, new umbrella entity. What is the purpose proposed by RBI? Now again, it is very difficult to guess unless you are privy with the current affairs. Okay, so this new umbrella entity have been proposed by the Reserve Bank of India to create alternate payment systems. Okay, because currently the only retail digital payment system is of NPCI. Okay, National Payment Corporation of India is the only player, is the only umbrella entity in digital payment ecosystem, and that means it do not have any competition. And if you do not have any competition, then it will not have much incentive to improve. That's why is this. But the name do not say anything much. Okay. Again, you have to be privy with the current affairs to get it right. So you can see that there are some questions. Next question is question number 33. So you know that in some question you have to know factually correct information, or else it will be very difficult for you to guess the answer. And in some you can arrive at conclusion with the help of some background information, even if you do not know it exactly. Okay, consider following a statement with reference to Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Okay. Now, statement number 1, it encourages farmers to adopt innovative and modern agricultural practices. Now, this is very straightforward statement. There's nothing wrong with this statement. Even if you don't know much about it, this is Fasal Bima Yojana. Okay, so it helps farmer manage risk, and anything which will manage risk, anything which will reduce risk, will help farmer to. It will encourage farmer to adopt innovative and modern agriculture practices. So 1 is correct. There is nothing wrong with this statement. It is voluntary for all farmers. Now this is current affairs question. Okay, this statement is based on current affairs, because earlier it was not voluntary for all. Earlier, Fasal Bima Yojana was mandatory for loany farmers. So if a farmer was taking loan, then it was mandatory for them to opt for this Fasal Bima Yojana. But now it has been made mandatory. So 1 and 2 both are correct. Okay, so again you can see that economy questions are inspired by current affairs most of the time. Okay, next question we have is question number 39. Okay, question number 39. Again, this question again requires you to know the fact reference to CSR, about CSR. So CSR spending is applicable to companies incorporated in India as well as foreign companies. This was the key part of the statement, that it is applicable to both India's domestic company and other companies, foreign companies which have office in India. So as it happens, it is the correct answer. Okay, and again you could have argued, even without knowing, you could have argued that government will not discriminate in favor of foreign companies. Okay, but then in exam hall it is very difficult to use these kind of arguments, because now post facto it's easy to guess these things. Second, expenditure incurred by company towards CSR is eligible for tax exemption under Income Tax Act. Okay, now this was a trap statement, because usually you may be tempted to believe that if government want corporates to invest in CSR, then they will give some tax incentive. Okay, but this is not so. There is no income tax exemption given for CSR. Okay, so 2 is incorrect. Okay, again you might have guessed it, because since CSR now is a law, since it is written in company law. Okay, so they have to do it. Government do not need to incentivize. It's a legal obligation that they have to do it. Okay, so 1 only is the correct answer. Okay, now next is question number 76. Here we have question number 76. Consider following statement with reference to bad bank structure in India. Now you know, again bad bank, this has been in news consistently. The bad bank does not take deposit but lends money to commercial bank in distress. Now again, this is a bit counterintuitive statement. Okay, bad bank do not take deposits. You know that it is not a conventional bank, so you cannot just go and deposit your money. This is right, and this portion was easy to guess. But second, but lends money to commercial bank in distress. If you know that bad bank is related to NPA crisis, then you may be tempted to mark this statement as correct. But bad bank do not take deposit, neither it lends money to anybody. Okay, this is incorrect statement. So this was again a counterintuitive statement. Again, I am repeating it again and again, that whenever you are reading newspaper or you are reading textbook, anything, whenever you see a counterintuitive statement, then pay more attention to that. If something is logically correct, then maybe if you will see that statement for first time in exam hall also, you will mark it as correct. But if something is counterintuitive, you think that this is correct, but this is not correct, then you should focus more on that. Okay. So 1 is incorrect. Second, India Debt Resolution Company will acquire and aggregate the NPA accounts from bank. Now this is incorrect. In fact, NARCL will acquire and aggregate. Okay, so there are 2 parts in bad bank structure. There are 2 parts. NARCL, they will acquire and aggregate NPA accounts from bank. That's first time. And then there is IDRCL. Okay, and then after acquiring by NARCL, IDRCL will try to resolve the debt. Okay, so So statement number 2 is also incorrect. Okay, so if 2 is also incorrect, the only option you have is 3 only. Okay, that public sector bank indeed hold majority stake there in NARCL, right? Okay. Consider following a statement about International Energy Agency. Okay, this is a typical question related to an international organization, which is routinely asked by UPSC. Okay, so now if you are about IEA, the most basic thing which you should know is whether India is member of that organization or not. This is most basic thing which is expected by UPSC. India is a member of country of IEA? No, India is not a member country of IEA because only OECD countries can be member of IEA. Okay, India is an associate. Okay, but India is not a permanent member. Okay, so this was the easy statement. This was the easy question. If you consider that you know this fact that India is not a member. India cannot be a member of IEA. Only OECD members can be. Yeah. So if you will remove 2, then only option left is 1 and 3 only. So this was an easy question if you knew statement number 2. Now question number 78. Consider following a statement with reference to consumer price index, industrial worker. Okay. CPI industrial worker have been in news because of its change in base level. Okay. Now first, CPI industrial worker is used to determine DNS allowance paid to central government employees. Now, for those of you whose parents work in central government, or since all of you are aspiring for a central government job, maybe you should have known that DNS allowance is paid using CPI industrial worker. Okay, so of course, I presume that financial motive is not the only incentive to join these services, but still, okay, CPI IW is used for determining DNS allowance, DA. So 1 is correct. Base year of CPI IW has been changed to 2011-12 to make it sync with base year of the measures of inflation. Now you know that base year of CPI IW has been changed to 2016. This has been in news since 2-3 years. So I think 2 years. It happened in 2020. I need to check it, but probably it happened in 2020. Base year have been changed to 2016. So not 2011, 2011-12. Okay, 2011-12 is the base year of WPI. Okay, and 2011-12 is base year of GDP. 2011-12 is also base year of IIP. So you should know. So once you see one question, you can relate it with other such concepts so that it will work as a revision tool. Okay, so you know that statement 2 is correct. Answer is 1 only. Okay, now let's see what's the other question. Other question is question number 79. Okay, so question number 79 is about National Coal Index. Okay, now National Coal Index. Let's have a look at statement number first, and let's look at it logically. NCI is used to determine the maximum price at which public sector enterprises are allowed to import coal. Okay, it says that it is the maximum price at which public sector enterprises are allowed to import coal. Now, can government dictate that? Okay, because the price in international market is determined by market dynamics and geopolitics. Okay, so it's largely by market dynamics. So if the price in international market will increase, then it's not possible for public sector enterprises to say that they are not going to procure coal at that price. Okay, because they need coal, they have to buy coal. Okay, so there cannot be a maximum price. It's logically there cannot be a maximum price. Okay, so statement number 1 is incorrect by logic. Okay, and if you go just by logic, you are arriving at the correct statement. That is 2 only is correct. Okay, so just keep your mind alert and use logically. And once you will use this kind of logics in test series, you will feel confident enough to apply logic in real exam also. Now, let's see its statement number 3. NCI has been developed by the Ministry of Coal. Again, this is an example of a counterintuitive statement, because if you see that the name is National Coal Index, you may be tempted to believe that NCI, National Coal Index, is indeed developed by Ministry of Coal, but it is not a correct statement. Okay, it is developed by, see the word, the word used is it is developed by. So it is developed by ISI Kolkata, Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata, not by Ministry of Coal. So this is again a counterintuitive statement. Whenever you are reading about NCI, just try to find out such kind of interesting informations. Okay, and then you can see that, okay, then you don't have to remember other things. You just have to remember only those things which is counterintuitive. That will help you in getting questions right with minimum information possible. Okay, again, it does not mean that you should not focus on those informations which are logical. You have to focus on it, but it's just about you have to pay a bit more focus on those which are counterintuitive. Consider following statement with reference to Food Corporation of India. It is a statutory body under Ministry of Agriculture. Now, Food Corporation of India job starts after harvesting normally. So Food Corporation of India is not a body under Ministry of Agriculture. It is a body under Ministry of Consumer Affairs. Okay, it's the job of Consumer Affairs, because its job is to procure food and then sell it give it to consumers. So Food Corporation of India is related to, but again I would say that this logic is making more sense because I am analyzing the test after the test, post facto. Inside the exam hall, you will have to take your chances. You don't know it. Okay. So the thing is, whenever you are reading it first time only, Food Corporation of India, and if you see that it is under Ministry of Consumer Affairs, then you should be a bit extra careful that, okay, it is under Ministry of Consumer Affairs. In a statement, they may say that it is under Ministry of Agriculture because it is related. So while preparation itself, you should warn yourself repeatedly against these mistakes. 2. To intervene in the market for price stabilization of some food product is one of the objectives. This is the direct question. This is the direct statement. This is obvious statement, to intervene in the market for price stabilization. This is the objective. 3rd, FCI procures pulse from the farmer under price deficiency payment scheme. Now, if you know about PMASA, and if you know about price deficiency payment scheme, then you know that there is no physical procurement under price deficiency payment scheme. Okay, so there is no physical procurement. Farmers have to sell it in the mandi, and then if the selling price is below MSP, then they will get the difference. Okay, that is the meaning of deficiency. Price deficiency will be paid, not there is no physical procurement. So this statement must be incorrect, that FCI procures pulse. So for getting this question right, you should have known about price deficiency payment scheme as well. The answer is 2 only. Okay. Question number 81. In the context of International Monetary Fund, IMF, which of the following statements best describe reserve tranche? Now you know these terms, reserve tranche, SDR, these terms are very much important for UPSC. Okay, UPSC have already asked questions on this. So this is on the very basic definition of reserve tranche. Okay, reserve tranche represents the members' unconditional drawing right on the IMF. Okay, members can take loan from IMF, but normally before taking loan, members will have to fulfill some conditions and they will have to agree to pay some fees to that. But reserve tranche is the level till which members have this unconditional drawing right. Okay, so B is correct answer. Till reserve tranche, member can borrow any amount. Then statement C, it serves as a unit account of the IMF. What serves as a unit of account of IMF? Okay, SDR. Okay, special drawing right. This is the definition of SDR. Okay, A and D were just the statement to confuse you. Maximum amount of loan, there's nothing like that. Minimum amount of loan IMF can give, there's nothing like that. Okay, so A and D, statement A and D was just cooked up statements to confuse you. B was the correct answer. Now statement question 82. Let's again try to solve this question logically. Okay, this question can be solved very easily logically. If a government welfare scheme uses socio-economic caste census for identifying beneficiaries, the statements related to beneficiary of a scheme or any indexes are very useful to know, because UPSC asks these type of questions repeatedly about beneficiaries. Okay. Now it says that if a government welfare scheme, SECC, for identifying beneficiaries, which of the following would have been certainly included? Then which of the following households will certainly be included? Will automatically be eligible for government beneficiaries. Okay. Let's come to statement number 4. Female-headed household with no adult member. Okay. Now it may appear on the face that female-headed household means there is a destitute household. There will be they should automatically qualify for beneficiaries. But let's consider a upper class household with a single female. Okay. Now, of course, if there is a upper class household with female-headed family with no adult members, let's say there are no adult members in that family. Suppose that female chose not to marry. Let's for example, then they will not be eligible automatically for beneficiaries. They do not need benefits. Okay. So 4 in itself will not make anybody qualify for getting benefits. Of course, for some female-headed households, of course, this is right. Okay, but it is not right for everybody. So no automatic inclusion. So you can eliminate 4, and if you can eliminate 4, then you will arrive at the right answer. Okay, you will eliminate 4 logically, then you will arrive at the right answer. That 1 and 3 only. Same you can do with this also. Household with only 1 room. Okay, so of course, if there is a household with only 1 room in say some village area, then that of course say that the person is poor. But if someone has a household with only 1 room, but say in South Delhi, then what you say about that person? Okay, of course that person is relatively poor, but that person is not so poor that they will be eligible for benefits. Okay, so 2 is incorrect. Okay, so again I have solved it logically, but you should be knowing that which of the parameters will make someone qualify for this. Okay, mandatory inclusion. Which of the parameters are necessary to ensure a mandatory inclusion? Okay. Now let's come to question number 83. Okay, again this is easy question on pro-cyclic fiscal policy. Which of the following actions of the government will be an example of pro-cyclic fiscal policy? Now, pro-cyclic fiscal policy, what is the meaning of pro-cyclic fiscal policy? It means that if economy is booming, if economy is doing good, then government will incentivize further investment. Okay, and counter-cyclic means if economy is going down, for example, then government will incentivize investment. Okay, that is, it will be out of sync with the business cycle. If business cycle is high, then government will incentivize further investment. That is pro-cyclic fiscal policy. Let's consider first increasing government expenditure during COVID-induced lockdown. So there is a lockdown and then government is increasing expenditure. That means there is a counter-cyclic fiscal policy. Okay, economy is down, but government is taking steps to boost it. So this is an example of counter-cyclic. Fiscal stimulus package enacted by US government after fall of Lehman Brothers. Again, this is example of counter-cyclic. Okay, there was global recession and then US government was incentivizing it. Third, reducing income tax in terms of high economic growth to incentivize more private consumption. Okay, so third says that there is high economic growth already, and then government is cutting income tax. Okay, so that people will be able to buy more to increase their consumption. So this will add to already high economic growth. Okay, so 3 only will be the correct statement. Okay, these 2 terms, pro-cyclic and counter-cyclic fiscal policy, is very important. UPSC can ask question on this anytime. Okay, because this was in news repeatedly. Even Economic Survey talked about this last year. Consider following statement with respect to provisions of budget 2022-23. If you have followed the budget, this was an easy question. Okay, the Desh e-Stack portal is portal to empower citizens to get skilled through online training. Okay, now just this name says nothing much about skill. Okay, it's very difficult to arrive at this unless you know it. Okay, so but if you have read it, then it's easy. 2. PM e-Vidya program has been proposed in this budget to boost online learning. Now, this was a tricky statement because PM PM e-Vidya program indeed promote online learning in regional language. So that is correct. But this part that it is proposed in this budget is incorrect. Okay, this is not proposed in this year. PM e-Vidya was introduced in 2020 only. Okay, so this is incorrect. One only is the correct answer. Okay, question number 85. New method of GDP calculation. Again, this concept have been asked in mains this year. You should be thorough with this concept at least. You should not be surprised when the question based on this is asked in prelims. Okay, CSO replaced GDP at factor cost with GVA at basic price. Yes, this is right. Okay, so earlier GDP at factor cost was calculated and published. Now primary focus is on GVA at basic price. This is right. Second, GVA at basic price includes production tax. Now this statement is also right, but to know this you have to know difference between factor cost. You have to know difference between factor cost, then factor cost to basic price, and then from basic price to market price. You can answer statement number 2 only if you know the relation between these three terms. Okay, so be thorough with these terms. Okay, when you add net production tax in factor cost, you arrive at basic price, and when you add net product tax in basic price, then you arrive at market price. And what is production cost and what is production tax? Go Google it. Okay, because it is very important term. Okay. Okay, which of the following statement best describes an inflationary gap? Okay, again, this is a conceptual question. Unless you know inflationary gap, it is difficult for you to arrive at this answer. Okay, but it is a situation when real GDP has exceeded the potential GDP. Okay, because of excessive demand. Okay, what happens that there is a potential level of GDP, but and that means that is a sustainable level at which the economy can produce. Okay? That is potential GDP. But if there is a sudden increase in demand, for example, because of increased expenditure by the government, then to fulfill that demand, suddenly the companies, corporates, they will start producing more. But that condition will not be sustainable. Of course, in the long run, it will have to again come back a little bit. But it is a situation when real GDP has exceeded. If real GDP will exceed, then we will say that it will create an inflationary gap in the economy. So B is correct statement. Again, this was a conceptual question. Unless you know it exactly, it's very difficult to eliminate it. Okay. So 87, consider following a statement with respect to liquidity trap. Now see here, you should be clear about liquidity trap, that what is liquidity trap. Okay, if you are clear about liquidity trap, you will be able to answer this, because both these statements are opposite of what happens in liquidity trap. Read first statement. It is a scenario where interest rate falls and saving rate come down in the economy. This is what it happens in normal cases. If interest rate will fall, then saving rate of course will come down, because only if interest rate is high, then people will have more incentive to save. If interest rate is down, then people will borrow more and invest more. Okay. So this is true in normal scenario, but in case of liquidity trap, where people are expecting something bad to happen again, where economy is in recession, economy is in bad shape, and people at the same time, the expectation of people is that things will get worse. So in such case, even if interest rate falls, even then people will not spend more. People will save money even if interest rate is down, because they are expecting something bad to happen. Okay, so 1 again is incorrect. 2, demand for bonds increases because of increasing bond yield. Again, see, this again is true for normal circumstances. In normal circumstances, if bond yield will increase, then profit will increase and people will then come to buy bond more. Okay, so demand of bond will increase if there is increase in bond yield, but only in normal circumstances. Again, in liquidity trap scenario, where people are expecting something bad to happen, then they want to hold on to the cash. If they think that economy is going to crash, they will not spend their money. They will save their money, and so demand for bond yield will not increase even though there is increase in bond yield. So this is again the counterintuitive thing, but this only happens because of psychological effect, that people want to hold on to the cash, they don't want to spend cash. Okay, so you know that answer is D. Okay, and this is the last question of economy here. Which of the following statement correct with wage and means advance? Okay, RBI, anything related to RBI, these facts related to RBI is important for exam. One is correct, it is facility for both center and state to borrow in terms of temporary mismatch in cash flow. Again, here both may confuse a few people, but you know that RBI is bankers to the governments. Okay, so it is important to know. Anyway, wage and means advance is a very important concept. It helps center and state to tide over temporary problems. So let's see, a special drawing right is type of WMA given to a state government against government security as a collateral. This is also right. See, wage and means advance, there are two types of wage and means advance. Okay, one is a special drawing facility, SDF, and another is normal wage and means advance. Okay, so a special drawing right is the first wage and means advance which anybody use. After exhaustion of SDF, then they will come to normal wage and means advance. The interest rate on normal wage and advance is higher than RBI's repo rate. This is what this statement says, but this is incorrect. It is equal to RBI's repo rate. Okay, so so if a state want to borrow from RBI under normal WMA, then they will have to pay interest at repo rate. Okay, for SDF is lesser than repo rate. Okay, rate for SDF is less than repo rate. For normal WMA, it is equal to repo rate normal. It's a normal. There is nothing abnormal. Okay, so it's the same as the repo rate. Okay, this way you can remember it. Okay, so that's that. And if they want to borrow further, then they will have to go for overdraft where rate is higher than repo rate. So that's that. Okay. So these were the questions of economy section, and the take home message is that keep your mind open always. Okay, be ready to eliminate statements. Of course, while reading only, you'll have to critically identify those areas where you can be trapped by UPSC. Okay? You'll have to anticipate things, and if you'll anticipate things more and you are conceptually clear, then you should be able to get these questions right. Okay, of course there are one type of questions which are purely current affairs question, factual questions, like there was positive pay question. Unless you are update with current affairs, it will be difficult to answer those kind of questions. So both dimensions you have to cover. Okay, all the best.